Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about your ex's brain during no contact. So when you're doing no contact with your ex, what is the main thing that is going on with them when they are thinking about you, and the fact that you haven't been reaching out anymore, that you're silent basically, that you're no longer trying to fight for the relationship, you're no longer trying to salvage things. So what happens is confusion, right? So that's the main thing that's going to be happening in your ex's brain. And the cool thing is that it's confusion whether or not they want you back or not. So if they still love you and care about you, they're going to have confusion. And if they don't love and care about you anymore, and they're still glad that the breakup happened, basically, they're still going to have some confusion, right? They're still going to be confused as to why you stopped, right? So how can you create this confusion and may even turn the tables and get them to start reaching out to you and to start chasing you, right? Because essentially you want to know these things, because when you get dumped, right, especially if you were the one that got dumped, what happens here is that the other person, the dumper dumper, feels more attractive than the dumpee, especially if the dumpee is begging and pleading. You know, it makes them makes the dumper seem like this amazing, attractive person, and the dumpee is basically crawling to just try and get them back, and they're begging, and it just makes this person, the dumpee, look really unattractive, and it makes the dumper look more attractive. So what this confusion does, and these things do, is it tips the scales, and it may make you at least on the same level, or it can make even you look more attractive. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to do what they least expect, right? Because they're still expecting you to fight for the relationship, especially if you've been in contact with them a lot over the course of the breakup, and even after the breakup and things like that. And perhaps you've only just started to do no contact, right? So you're doing the opposite of what they expect. They expected you to carry on fighting for the relationship. Now, the best thing to do is to do this right from the very beginning. But I know a lot of people come and watch videos like this one, like mine, or like some other coaches, and they learn this like far too late. They've already done the begging, they've already done the pleading. But the best time to do it is straight away. Like when someone dumps you, so this might be good for future reference if you get dumped again by someone. When someone dumps you, accept it. Don't fight for it. Just be like, okay, that's fair enough. It kind of sucks, but you know what? I want to be with someone that loves me, and you don't love me anymore, so that's fine. You know, I'm going to go move on with my life and find someone that does. And I hope you find someone that loves you too. Take care of yourself, and see you later. Have a great life. That's the kind of attitude that you need to have. And you kind of bow out gracefully, right? You may have to apologize as well for some things that you may have done, especially if it was your fault that the breakup happened. Like, let's say you cheated on your ex, or you stopped putting your best foot forward and you was no longer putting in any effort in the relationship. You may need to apologize for that, but you're never apologizing hoping that they're going to, you know, you don't use your words like, oh, I'm really sorry, I did this, I did that, can we get back together? No, you just own up to it and you say, look, I'm sorry I cheated, or I'm sorry I didn't value you, things like that. You just apologize for it, because you need to apologize basically if you made a mistake. Everyone should do that kind of thing. But it may be the case that you didn't make any mistakes, okay, and that's fair enough. But that's the best way to bow out of the relationship, and it's always best to do that immediately. The moment it happens, you accept it gracefully like that. But like I said, a lot of people don't do that. They do beg, they do plead, they do try and fight for the relationship because they don't want it to end. So basically they have to do no contact after they've already made those mistakes. Okay. So basically by doing that, by going into no contact, or by gracefully accepting the breakup, you're doing the opposite of what they expect, because they're sitting there after they've broken up with you and they're expecting you to try and fight for the relationship. They're expecting you to still want them. They're expecting you to still try and get in contact with them, to try and resolve things, to try and reach out. They may even be expecting you to send them a message one day saying, I still love you, right? But if you're not doing that, right, and you've gone into no contact, and you're no longer contacting your ex at all, so that means you're no longer phoning them up, you're no longer texting them, you're no longer watching their stories on Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat and things like that. You're no longer liking their posts, you're no longer commenting, you're no longer in any kind of contact with them at all. So what that does is that it really confuses them because they're expecting you to do the opposite. So that's how you can start creating this confusion. Now, if you are someone who still has to speak to their ex because you've got kids, or because you work together or something like that, then I always say to those people that you need to start speaking to your ex in a business-like manner, especially if you have kids. You need to speak to them solely about the kids. You're never trying to find out other information about them or being like, hey, how are you? Like being pally, being emotional, being like buddies, things like that. You want to speak to them in a very business-like manner, very professional. Like when you need to speak to your ex about the kids, you keep it exactly on topic and you keep it concise. Right, so for example, let's say you've got to work late and you can't pick up the kids from school. So you say to your ex, look, I have to work late today. Can you pick up the kids from school? Thanks. That's all you need to say, just something like that. And keep it very abrupt, very business-like, right? And if they try to divert the conversation, then stay on topic. Try and stay on topic as much as you can, right? And if you work with your ex, then what you need to do with that kind of situation is you need to think of like the most neutral person that you work with, or it could be that you go to school with your ex, maybe you go to the same college or something like that. Then think of the most neutral person who you know in that environment, who you're not friends with, who you don't typically hate either. But basically they're just someone that you say hi to and, you're just polite to, right? You need to start treating your ex like that person. Like you have no emotional attachment to them whatsoever, but you're still like nice, you're still pleasant to them. You still say hi and good morning and things like that. That's it. But that's how you treat them. You treat them like the most neutral person that you know at your workplace or at your college, okay? And if you only talk to them when it's if you can't avoid it, basically. If you can avoid it, let's say they work on the other side of the building, then you don't need to be around your ex. You don't need to go and find them and talk to them and things like that. If they work somewhere or they go to a different part of the building in the day, then you can still just avoid your ex and do no contact. You shouldn't be seeking out your ex. You should be treating them, like I said, like the most neutral person you know. And this will also cause confusion in them, right? They're wondering why you're no longer inquiring about them. They're wondering why you're no longer trying to, make the conversation about your old relationship and things like that. They'll be wondering and confused about that. Almost like they're thinking, oh my God, it looks like he or she has moved on. What's going on with that, right? I thought they were going to try and, I thought they was going to start acting differently around me. I thought they would look butthurt or they would start showing off or something like that when I'm around. But no, they're treating me like I'm just someone that they work with. And that's really confusing to me and I have no idea what's going on. And it will confuse them and it may cause them to reach out to you and be like, hey, what's going on? What's up? Right? And then, but if they do that, if they do reach out to you like that, then you say, hey, I'm doing really well, thanks. How are you? Right? And they may say something more. And if they're trying to prolong the conversation, then you can say something like, hey, why don't we have a catch up one day and talk about it then, or something like that, and see how they respond to that. Now, if they're still, basically hell bent on not being with you, then they'll probably ignore that or they won't agree to meeting up with you because they probably will know what it means if you're asking to have a catch up with them. But anyway, all this kind of thing causes confusion. So treating them very neutrally, talking to them in a business-like manner, getting to the point. And also, if you don't know your ex in a physical environment, like you don't have kids together or you don't work together, you don't go to school together, just going completely ghost and basically not speaking to them at all anymore, okay? Unless they reach out to you. Because if you want them back and they reach out to you, it's important that you respond if you want them back. If you don't want them back, then obviously just continue to just ghost them and things like that, or to block them, right? But if you do want them back, if they reach out to you off their own steam and they're like, hey, how are you? Right? Then that's more of an indication that they may want you back, okay? So another thing that's going to cause confusion then, and this is a really good one, is that they don't expect you to change. They're expecting you to stay the same. They're not expecting you to change and level up and get better in life. They're expecting you to be the same old person that they were once with. And that gives them justification, basically, to have stayed out of the relationship and to have broken up with you. But if you're leveling up in life, let's say you get like a better job or you're taking care of your body more these days, or you're working on some goals that are really important to you, or you're starting a side business that you've always wanted to start. And you're basically leveling up, and you're changing, and you're learning new things as well, and you're getting better at dating and relationships and knowing what, about romance and things like that, then that's going to cause confusion as well, because they're seeing that you're changing, right? That you're getting better at life, that you're getting better in life, and you're getting better, you're leveling up, you're becoming a different, more interesting person. And that's going to really confuse them as well, because it makes them see that, oh my God, they're getting on way better without me. I thought their life was going to fall apart, because that's kind of what they expect. And kind of sneakily, that's kind of what they hope. They're hoping that you're always not going to get over it. They're hoping that you're always going to be pining after them. Why? Because it makes them feel more desirable. It kind of affirms to them how great they are, right? So if they see that you're getting on way better in life without them, and they feel, and you look really, really happy with your life, that's going to confuse them, and it's going to hurt their ego, right? And it's going to create this confusion, like, oh my God, they're doing better without me. Maybe I was the problem, right? So it just causes this kind of confusion. And these are things that you should do anyway, regardless of how you feel like your ex is going to respond to it. You should be wanting to level up in life. You should be wanting to have a better life for yourself, and to be more happier, to be more healthier, in all different ways, right? So it's going to create mass confusion for them if they feel like you're doing better without them, right? When they thought, oh yeah, because at the beginning when they dumped you, they may have been like, well, I'm going to be so much better off without them. That's why I'm dumping them. When actually it's going to be the reverse, and they're going to see the reverse, that you're actually doing better without them, and it's going to hurt their ego. It's not going to make them feel very good about themselves, and it may even cause you to look more attractive, and therefore they may start reaching back out to you and try to be back in your life. Okay? So what you need to understand about the no contact rule when you start doing no contact is that if they still love you and they still care about you, when you go into no contact and they're no longer hearing from you, they will reach out eventually if they still love you and care about you. They will, right? They will eventually reach out to you, okay? If they don't love you, then you'll just never hear from them again. You'll never hear from them. They'll never reach out to you because they're glad, basically. They're still glad that the breakup happened. Those are the two realities. They're either going to come back into your life or they're not. Right? And also, the other reality is that you're either going to get them back or you're just going to find someone better, right? Because you won't even care about what your ex is thinking, what, their psychology is now that the breakup has happened and you've gone into no contact. If you find someone better, right? You won't mind as much if you find someone better who is better looking than your ex, who is nicer to you, who you enjoy the company of more, you have more things in common. So if you find someone who's just way better than your ex, then that's going to be amazing for you, right? So it's a good idea to start moving on, start focusing on you, put less of your attention and focus back on your ex, basically, and put it more on you and improving your life, because they're going to be confused, right, regardless of what you do. Right? They're going to be confused when you start leveling up like this. And either they're going to come back or they're not, right? But the point is that you should still be moving on with your life. You should still be healing from it and getting over it. And if you would like some help on relationships and dating, then I highly recommend that you go and check out the books in the description of this video through the Amazon link. And basically those links are affiliate links, so I will get a small commission if you do actually purchase a book through those links. But you don't have to do that. You could literally go to that site, write down the titles of all the books, and then go and get them cheap, cheap somewhere else, like at your library or on eBay or something like that. But there are 5 books there that are focused on dating and relationships, and the other 5 are more to do with personal success. I recommend all of the books, but if you're just focused on your love life right now, then check out the 5 dating and relationship books. You should be able to tell which ones are which through the titles, basically. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.